Okay, so I'm going to walk you through a process I am doing myself more and more because I really think that we humans, especially in the West, we try to solve almost everything with our mind. We try to fix everything. We try to have a clear path forward. We try to build structure, which is in many cases very valuable in this life. Though there is a thing with that, we try to almost in any occasion try to work around emotions. Emotions are a very big part of our life. It's kind of a silent guiding force that we don't really see anymore, or we don't really are in touch with our emotions, especially in the West, especially men in the West. I think also women. We unlearned how to be in touch with our emotions. And it's very important to be in touch with your emotions because this is a driving force why we do things. And if you don't really know why you do something in this life, you can put maybe goals that are rooted in fear or goals that even are rooted in anger. Those goals, most of the time, they don't solve anything. We maybe have this kind of idea about it that we solve stuff inside of ourselves by reaching a certain goal. But at the end of it, when we reach that goal, we find out most of the time that that goal didn't solve anything. That's why it's so important, in my opinion, that we are very aware which emotions drive us in this life. And what I was telling about the mind, we use a lot our minds. We live inside of our head most of the time, 90% of the time. Especially in the West, again, we live in our mind. This mind is constantly giving comments, judgments. It's like a monkey that is constantly yapping about why you should do that, why this isn't good, and it's running on autopilot. We don't use our mind as a tool anymore. We just listen to it on autopilot. And we may accept that all those things that the mind tells us are true. And this is not just my story. This is just how the mind works. We really need to rebalance that into the other direction. And I think the world is in great need of that. I am in great need of this. I need to look at my emotions. I need to feel my emotions and work with them instead of building around it or trying to avoid them by intelligence, by the mind. Because the mind can be very intelligent about it and it can work around that. You may have the feeling that you work with your emotions, but actually in reality, you are avoiding them in a masterful way. Most of the time, the second any discomfort shows up, the second something uncomfortable rises in you, you know the feeling. It can be anxiety, it can be fear, it can be even anger, it can be sadness. Your mind doesn't sit with it. Most likely, our mind is trying to avoid that feeling. And your mind can't feel. That's the whole paradox about it. It is your body. Your body needs to feel that. You need to observe. And for that, you need to shut down your mind that is constantly giving comments, judgments, whatever. But what our mind then does to avoid or to bypass that feeling, to work around it, it will create a system. Because the mind is very good in creating systems or workarounds. So it creates a routine, a new identity, maybe a 5-year plan to solve the emotion. The mind can do it with anything with structure because the mind gives you results. It gives you structure and that feels like safety. And it's this safety feeling that we actually want. And in that, it feels like the emotion, the underlying emotion, goes away and you are again in safety mode. There is a big trap to that. A workaround may feel very productive, it's got a lot of momentum, and you can really see the results in your life. And that's what makes it so dangerous. Because that thing you built with your mind, it looks like progress. It looks like you've dealt with the feeling. While it actually quietly becomes the one thing that stands between you and that feeling. And the workaround doesn't really fix the feeling. The feeling will reappear. And if it reappears, you will constantly refer to your solution that you found with your mind. The feeling itself will come and go. So, this structure that you created with your mind needs to be maintained to avoid the feeling underneath it. And that's how your solution becomes the biggest prison. It won't allow you to look or to feel your feeling anymore. The feeling will arise in you and you will immediately refer to your plan. And before you know it, you've built a whole structure or a whole plan to keep avoiding that exact feeling that you actually want or need to feel. And this is where it gets interesting for me personally. Because this is the part where Carl Jung comes in. Jung talks about the persona, or let's call it the mask. The mask we put on to function in our daily lives. To go to work or professional life, we put on masks all the time to interact with the world. And most people, they think that this persona or this mask we put on is just social performance. It's the professional version of you. But it's not just that. Every workaround you are building to avoid that uncomfortable feeling you have, it might be fear, it might be sadness, it might be anger, any emotion, that gets absorbed into this professional mask or this professional costume, the persona. And that mask or the persona is made of several solutions that you've tried throughout your life. And that all to avoid the feeling underneath that. What does the shadow part play in all of this? The shadow isn't this kind of creepy monster that is hiding in the closet. The shadow is just the pile of everything that you've solved instead of having felt. It's every avoided feeling that has not been felt, but it's still fully alive under there. It's just not acknowledged. It's just not been processed. And that's called shadow avoidance. So by building all those things, you are avoiding what you actually need to look at. It's a more complicated, sophisticated mask you put on, and you try to solve your emotions with intelligence. You explain it with intelligence. You bypass it with intelligence. And the emotion, it's never fully integrated in yourself. So here's the actual mechanism all the way through. The move isn't ripping the mask off all at once. This is not usually how it happens, or at least nobody does that. And if they did, it's probably again the persona or your mask that want to impress others. This is not a thing in shadow work. You don't rip off the mask in a dramatic moment. And when they tell you they did, they're probably lying, or I would be very suspicious about them. The move you can make is much smaller than that. Every time discomfort in yourself shows up, you can pause. You can sit still with that discomfort. You can ask yourself, am I about to feel this? And just the pausing, I notice that if I pause and just sit there with the feeling, and really go through it, not in a dramatic way. Doesn't have to mean that. It can be just to sit with it, to be silent. Because our mind tries to hop from solution to solution. What you can then ask is, am I about to build something around it? Or am I trying to solve this? Because this is what the mind does. It tries to solve feelings. Feelings are on a whole other dimension. They must be felt in our bodies. So next time, if you feel that urge, the urge to fix something about yourself, to optimize something, or to build a new system around it, try to pause. Take a little break, sit still, and go into your body. You can do this with just breathing, focus on your breathing, and in that way you go into your body. So you can actually feel. And I've done both. I've built systems, I've tried to solve all my feelings away, and it doesn't work. Feelings need to be felt. And even if you have the feeling that you solved all your feelings, well, that's also a feeling, but the chances are very high that you didn't solve them. Again, it's on a whole other dimension. If you found this video valuable, you would do me a great favor to subscribe and like this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.